a social media coming at you. Big bun, 100% big bun. Garbage pile of the day. Big bun, give the teacher them big bun. I see corruption big bun. Mash down the people them out. Big bun, every day appear arms out. Big bun, appear money them a tea. Big bun, and them a sell out the beach. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. Can't buy Kenyan, we can't buy time. You can't for me again. Can't for me again. You can't for me again. You hold me down for a very long time. Can't buy sugar, we can't buy lime. You touch up line and a resort to crime. You can't for me again. Come me say big up all the charities and all of the givers. Some a go like say them powerful, me no make a bigger. The urgent the promises none of them not deliver. Cut up the youth and rough and down in the river. Them a bold money and they lie them tell. Corruption smell and they pocket them smell. When police don't a market like Satan out of hell go mash up people start and people them sell. Big bun, what they treat the market man. Big bun, what them a treat the cat man. Big bun, what they treat the peanut man. Big bun, what them a treat the dirt man. Big bun, what them a treat the sun man.
Stibbidim day, stibbidim day, stibbidim day. We in Global TV say certain kind of friend we no cape. And some informer friend we love Lake. We in Global, bona fake friend and bona tape. We in Global, we not promote them, we not support them. Look at them on the cheek, come here represent for. We in Global TV, check it.
I truly believe our political system needs some fixing. Too much you hear about corrupt politicians and nothing happen. Too much you hear about politicians who take away poor people money and none of them reach in jail. And to the young people at home or wherever you are, and to all Jamaicans, I have one question for you. Take a look at your communities. Take a look at the sliding dollar. Take a look at the failing healthcare and ask yourselves, where is the progress? Where is the progress that this arrogant and disrespectful government keeps talking about? With this existing callous government, matters have gone from bad to worse.
This is Global TV election campaign coverage. This is Global TV election campaign coverage. This is Global TV election campaign coverage.
Good evening once again, and welcome to Global Television. Thank you all for joining us on our various platforms. Good evening to those on the X, on Twitch, on Facebook, on YouTube. Good evening and welcome once again to 2024 Jamaica Decide. It is our local government election period, and we will be having our local election in the next 7 days. The campaign around the country continues. But before we waddle away tonight into the program, I'm going to ask you all to share the live. Tonight is a special night for my ride and die cousin, my ride and die sister. It is the birthday of Myrna Bryan. And tonight, Globalists, we are going to celebrate the birthday of a cousin, a sister, a ride and die, a comrade, a businesswoman, a family woman. Tonight, we will be celebrating my cousin, my sister, my ride and die, Myrna Bryan tonight. Before I get into anything else, I want all of you globalists, to help me tonight to wish our globalist Myrna Bryan a happy, happy birthday. Myrna is a ride and die cousin. We come from a very close-knitted family. We call ourselves Mama Grand Picnic, them are Mama descendants, them are Mama descendants, them from Hipchis. We are the Gungo Chief family. You touch one of them, Where the dry gungo, you touch one away and the whole away start shake all over the place. Don't matter what you say, we have a road. Don't trouble we for no piece, yeah, me. Because the whole away I got turn over upon you. So I want all of you globalists tonight to help me wish my sister, my cousin, my ride and die, a globalist, a comrade, a happy birthday, and many, many, many more to come in the future. Thank you very much, Myrna, for being a cousin, a sister, a great friend, a confidant, one who I can speak to about anything, and any other family member that irritate me and I want to speak, I will go to Myrna and speak about them, and all of you know that. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, Myrna, for being a friend, a family, and a sister. You are out now with friends and family, enjoying yourself. Have a great evening. Have a great evening. Enough love and respect, and enjoy yourself. Jamaica, the Prime Minister keeps going around the country. But is anybody here this evening? Is there anyone here this evening who was not here this morning? You see, in an information era, we must not let information just flow by us one time. It should be a continuous repetition, especially if there's something for the people to learn. There ought to be a continuous repetition, so them remember it in them head like the 23rd Psalms. So if you weren't here this morning, I'm not going to lose my manners. I'm going to go right from the top and say my good evening to everyone, as usual. Good evening to everyone on the live. Good evening to everyone in the chat. Thank you all for joining us. Please, if you have not yet, give us a thumbs up, give us some like. I will give you the instructions if you are not aware. If you are not sure how to do the whole like thing, the graphics on the screen gives you an illustration where the X in the circle to your right, if you hit that X, it will take you down to what looks like the page on your left. In the circle, if you hit that thumbs up, and just below that, if you hit chat publicly, it takes you right back into the chat. So support this channel. Support this channel by hitting the thumbs button and also sharing the live so the algorithm bounces and get the message out there, because this is a time of year where everybody in Jamaica need to get the message. And I want to do this tonight also because a lot of people watches and support my program. And I want to say a good evening to some countries and cities around the world. Good evening to my country, Jamaica. Good evening to those in the United States. Good evening to those in the United Kingdom. In Canada, good evening to you all. Good evening to those in the Cayman Islands. Good evening to those in South Africa. Trinidad and Tobago, the people of Trinidad and Tobago, good evening. Good evening to the people of Nigeria. Good evening to the people of Uzbekistan. Good evening to the people of Bangkok in Thailand. Good evening to the people of Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Good evening to the people of Dar es Salaam in you know that Eastern African country, Tanzania. I always have problem with pronouncing that. Good evening to the people of Germany, the people of Russia. Thank you all very much. My content is followed by people in all these countries I have mentioned. Thank you very much for your support. Continue to watch Global TV. Continue to share Global TV with your friends, families, and everyone. Good evening to those in the chat. Good evening, all. Good evening to all my moderators. Good evening to Sunshine. Good evening to Debbie Jervis. Good evening to Beat and Teach. Good evening to Sim Sim. Good evening, Cousin Jeremy. Good evening. How are you all doing? Thank you all for joining us. Veteran, big up, big up. How are you? Natalia Freeman, big up and good evening. Good evening. How are you? Beulah, good evening and welcome. Anthony R., how are you? Good evening and welcome. Good evening. Good evening. Good evening to Michelle Lewis Wilson, God's gift. Good evening and welcome. Good evening, Patricia Matthews. Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Tyreek Antonio, good evening and welcome. Good evening. Thank you all for joining us. Cousin Myrna, good evening and welcome. Out at the moment, enjoying your birthday. Have fun, cousin. Have fun and be well. Good evening. Stacy, good evening and welcome. Yvonne Johnson, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Who else is here? Mary Messenger, good evening and welcome. Good evening. Thank you all for joining us. Good evening. Millicent Jones, good evening and welcome. Verna Adams, good evening and welcome. Lilith Foster, good evening and welcome. Sharon Powell, good evening and welcome. Oops Official, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us on Global TV this evening. Maria Williams, good evening and welcome. Inner Circle, good evening. Angela 48349, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining Global TV this evening. JamaicanTV.com, good evening and welcome to Global Television. Cynthia B, good evening and welcome. Good evening. Millicent Jones, good evening. D.I.E.Z. Jerk World, good evening and welcome. Manners and Respect, good evening and welcome. Miranda Roddock, good evening. Winston Darkins, good evening and welcome to everyone. Thank you all for joining us this evening. Good evening, Jacqueline Wallace, good evening and welcome. Stacy, Agnostic, Andrea, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. Muhammad Smith, good evening and welcome. Colleen Humphreys, good evening to you all. Welcome and thank you for joining us. We asked a question this morning. Is this political intimidation? What is your views? Have you seen it all over social media? And if you have not, what do you think this is? Is it political intimidation or is it clarity? And if it is clarity, should one not have a view and express their view without other political parties coming to seek clarity from you? Is this clarity or political intimidation?
I me get me in a darkness so much years. And from a child pray, me never stay 5 minutes, then come fix the light. And him me want, look at me, see the needs of the people, and see what the wants of the people, and see what the people they want to be done. Bujo. You see, Council candidate to Dallas and East Washington.
A few moments later.
How come they come by and say Bujo fix this life?
Good. Don't call me in politics. Don't call me in politics.
You say, see, they are not telling any
Don't call me in politics.
Don't call me in a video and say Bujo fix life. Let me show you.
Don't call me. Me sit down here Monday evening and see floor truck come on there. See floor truck come on there.
Are you this?
Yes, I say so much years the light dead and nobody no come fix it.
So who fix the light?
Me don't know. Me tell you, me say floor truck.
Oh, you say you don't know. Me tell you now.
Me say floor truck. Let me talk. Come up here. And I say, run them and put on my light and I put on my phone and something now. And after then, I see the light come on.
After who gone?
After the truck gone with this in them, I see light come on.
All right, well, let me make it clear to you. It is Mario Ardley paid $35,000 to fix this light. No, Miss Faye, listen what I'm saying. You made a wrong talk, but me there here to tell you.
Nothing about when I talk to Buju about the light and me get me in a darkness so much years. And from the Clarke, we never stay 5 minutes, then come fix the light. And him you want, because we see the needs of the people, and see what the want of the people, and see what the people they want to be done.
Buju.
Buju. You see,
Council candidate for Dallas.
candidate to Dallas and East Washington.
A few moments later.
How comes you come by and say Buju fix this life?
Good. Me just don't call me in a politics. Don't call me in a politics.
You still sit there and not telling any
Don't call me
lie.
in a politics.
You
Don't call
made
me
a
in.
video and say Buju fix the life. Let me show you.
Don't call me. Me say, me sit down here Monday evening and see floor truck come on there. See floor truck come on there.
Are you this?
Yes, and me say so much years the light dead and nobody no come fix it.
So who fixed the light?
Me don't know. Me tell you, me say
Alright, you
floor
say like,
truck.
oh, you say you don't know.
Me
Let
say
me
floor
tell you
truck.
now.
Me say floor truck.
Phil can't tell you.
Me say floor truck come up here. Me say rod them and cut on me light and I cut on me phone and something now. And after then, me see the light come on.
After who gone?
After the truck gone with the thing them, me see light come on.
Alright, well, let me make it clear to you. It is Mario Hardley paid $35,000 to fix this
Like
light.
me pay a taxi saying,
No, Miss Faye, listen what I'm saying. You made a wrong talk, but me the here to tell you.
Nothing about
Lorna Emery, good evening. Arlene Foster, good evening and welcome. Should any of us, hold on a minute, just let me take a quick break. I will be back with you shortly. Back to Global Television. Should any one of us as citizens be explaining ourselves or views to political tegeregs? But what I want to ask that tegereg that comes with her proof, like Dean Jones, did you come with a gun as well? Because that is political intimidation, tantamount to threats. Because Miss Faye make wrong talk. And a question to Mario Hardly. Out of whose pocket did that $35,000? Now that it is out in public, Mario Hardly. BCA Smith, good evening and welcome. Now that it is out in public, Mario Hardly, it is for you to come and explain to us, did that $35,000 come out of the budget of local government Jamaica pocket? Or did it come out of Mr. Hardley's pocket? It is important for us to know that, because she go down there, Prof. Gorgeous Lady, good evening and welcome. She got for the woman yard gate with her proof. And I go tell the woman, say she make wrong talk because I Mario Hardly fix it. But it did that for years now work until she talked to Buju about it. So who Buju talked about it for put pressure for them come fix it within hours. Then she come with her proof to come intimidate the lady. So you make wrong talk. Is this the politics that the Jamaica Labour Party from 1980 is still playing today, intimidating people at their yard gate for their political views? Have the police spoken to this woman? Is Mario Hardly going to give us some answers as to whose money fixed the light and what was the rush to fix the light, Mario Hardly, if it's been there for years and is not working? And to Buju, who have you spoken to in the municipality? Who have you raised the concern of the light with Buju? Buju must speak and Mario Hardly must speak. Miss Faye alone shouldn't be left in this public debacle. Hello, Stephen Parkin, good evening and welcome. In my view, this was political intimidation. So therefore, Mr. Hardly need to come out in public and explain whose money fixed that light. Why was the rush to fix the light? Is it a consequences of Buju raising it with the local authority? Is it a consequences of Buju raising it with the local authority? Why them run, jump, go fix it, and then come with video as proof? To come intimidate Miss Faye because Miss Faye make wrong talk. Did you come with a gun as well, like Dean Jones? Because on the labor right, people love walk and either tell people, son, I go cut them throat like Darrell Vaz, or on a pint gun in them face like Dean Jones. The Labour Party is still on a backwards trend when it comes to socialization. Audrey Robinson, good evening and welcome. Still on a backward, downward trend, the Labour Party. Especially in this time and season, when it comes to a political campaign. The real side of them is let loose in public. Pauline Dixon Darkins, good evening and welcome to Global Television. You're over on Facebook. Good evening and welcome, and thank you all for joining us. It's lovely to have you all here. Good evening and welcome. So Mario and Bojo should come out and clarify this story, because one of our elder senior citizens is being threatened by a political tegereg because of her own views. Because of her own views at this time in the political fiasco across the country. And if you wasn't here this morning also, I'm going to remind you what the Prime Minister said in St. Thomas before I showed you what he also said in Portland today, because why the Prime Minister just go around the country. So I want the Prime Minister, if you have not seen or heard what the Prime Minister said in St. Thomas, it is your chance to assess what the Prime Minister said. And if you agree with the Prime Minister said, if you disagree, and is the Prime Minister just merely sticking up two fingers to those of us, the orange economy and the grassroots Jamaica?
You hear how my voice sound? It sound raspy. This voice is for the ladies.
Straight. My Prime Minister straight.
So all the man them just listen. But my voice is this way because I have been through the nooks and crannies of Jamaica. Reasoning with the people. And there's a lot of talking. Because there are a lot of issues facing Jamaicans in their communities. This election is a local government election. It is not an election to determine who is the Prime Minister and your member of Parliament. It is an election to determine the representatives who have responsibilities for local, municipal, and infrastructure issues. So municipal issues like the garbage collection, and infrastructure issues like your local roads, your parish council roads, and your local water supply. That is what this election is about. Because of political desperation and opportunism, such man has tried to turn this into a national election. I don't know the wisdom in that political calculus, because what it has done is to go and stir up Labour Party answer. Because people realize that they have to come out and support their government. Their government is doing well, they understand that. At the national level, they see the change that has happened, the transformation that has happened. The frustration is not at the national level. The frustration, the pain points, is at the local level. The road, your water, your garbage collection, your interaction and interface with the transport system, and your interaction and interface with other public services. That is where the frustration is. So I've spent the last 8 years with the team, making sure that we have a strong economy. Now, we're going to make sure that the economy is a clearing economy. An economy that deals with the issues that affect you.
Symbolism matters. Symbolism really does matters. National level, his hand goes up and stay up there. National level. But the minute it comes to the local level, the hand comes down. Symbolism matters. We are up here and the economy is all right for us. We make sure it is right for us. But you who are down here, we are going to start making sure the economy becomes a caring economy. Just to rehash what I said this morning, your prime minister is saying to you, we know all the problem you face is there. He was itemizing them. But 2 fingers up to you, because it's really up here that matters. It's really up here that matters. We will see how we can share it with you down here. Symbolism matters. They know what your problems are. They have ignored them for the last 8 years. They are coming now to tell you that they are going to share what they have achieved up there with you down here. But why them choose to tell us now? More votes. Just simple, more votes. Well, let's move on to what the Prime Minister said in, is it Bull Bay today?
Blessings and liberals. I want you to listen to this one good as well. Showers of blessings on our comrade friends as well. And I want to, again, wish showers of blessings on all the people of Buff Bay gathered here today. This is not a meeting stop, as I was reminded by the Minister of Local Government. Your Member of Parliament, Minister Vaz, has done an excellent job in managing this urban center of Buff Bay. I know Buff Bay like the back of my hand. I used to do research work in this area, and I have seen this town slowly develop in an orderly way, and I must commend you and compliment you, the residents of Buff Bay, that you have one of the cleanest towns in Jamaica. I must commend you and compliment you for the orderliness of the town. It's a small town, it's a little bit choco, but I see that you're making the most of it. And I also see that businesses are doing fairly well. New construction, people renovating. It tells you that this is a prosperity town. Buff Bay, a lovely town. We have some big plans for the entire parish of Portland. When we finish in Port Antonio tonight, you will hear more about it. I want you to join me therefore on our campaign motorcade throughout the parish. Bear in mind that you are the campaign. When people see you, they see the Jamaica Labour Party. You are our representative. Every car load, every bike,
every bus, you represent the Jamaica Labour Party. You represent the government. And when them pass and see us on the road, they must say, there goes the decent, orderly people who form the government of Jamaica. The motorcade has a particular structure to it. Your member of parliament will be the lead vehicle. He will be up in the vehicle with the sunroof. Your candidate must be behind the sound truck. And the sound truck will be announcing, as we are going through your area, we have your member of parliament, then your candidate, then myself. And if Minister Mackenzie stays with us, he follows behind my set of vehicles. That will be the order that must be maintained. So if you're driving, don't break that order. Please, to our bikers, we have the Minister of Transport here. I want all of you to ride safely. You cannot ride in front of the motorcade. You have to ride to the back of the motorcade to be safe. Now the motorcade is about fun. It's a carnival. When I just come into the politics, that was the best thing to be on the motorcade. So we don't want to take away the fun. We want you to have fun, but we want you to be safe. And we want you to learn something as well about what the party is about. Right? So we are the party that will uplift you. When you come here and you participate, when you finish, you go home feeling, I accomplished something today. I did something of meaning. Alright? So Labour Rights, I thank you for coming out. You could have been elsewhere doing something else. But you love your party, you love your country, you want to see better, you are here. I love you like my family. God bless you. Let us have a good day.
I love you like my family, he said, but never mind that. What he spoke about, which irritates me, is that the motorcade is about fun. It's a carnival. This is the problem. This is the very problem with our politics. We're at the point where we should be having serious political debate about policy, about leadership, about governance. It is the era where we get into euphoria, them junk upon the campaign, them feed upon the campaign, and if you know when you're junk and when your belly full, you're not worried too much about anything else. When you're junk and when your belly full, especially if you're under shady tree, the whole world can blow past you. This is the problem with our politics, the euphoria, the carnival, the fun. Jojoya, good evening and welcome. Where, in fact, what we should be having at this time, it is serious policy argument. I want to say to the women of Portland, the women of Buff Bay, how long Darrell Vaz and your wholeness, how Darrell Vaz are developed on a place slowly and steadily. How long has Darrell Vaz been building a maternity ward, a maternity hospital or clinic in Buff Bay? Because my understanding is all the women within the Buff Bay region have to go to St. Mary for years now to deliver baby. For years now, they have to be going to St. Mary to deliver baby. And Darrell Vaz is constructing a maternity hospital to no ends. Of all the money that the family control over Portland, Darrell Vaz has been constructing a maternity hospital from the days of whenever, and it has nowhere to completion. And the mothers don't know what is wrong with my media here. Sorry. have to take the journey to St. Mary in order to have a safe delivery. When Darrell Vaz, Andrew Holness is telling us how well Darrell Vaz has done. It is a fly in the face. But the problem is, when you speak to, started from 2016. It started in 2016, 8 years. How much house would Auntie Dana build within that 8-year period? Lilith Lockerbie, good evening and welcome. For the 8 years that Darrell Vaz is constructing the maternity ward at Buff Bay, how much house Dana Go could have built within that time? Why is it when these contracts to do with government, they never get completed and they continue milk the public purse? What's the budget of that clinic, Darrell Vaz? What was the estimated budget before you started? And what's the budget for completion? Is it anything of the sort of Cornwall Regional, which is just a sliding white elephant? Is it anything like Cornwall Regional Hospital, which is a sliding elephant, Darrell Vaz? Is it anything, Darrell Vaz, that will be a sliding elephant, like we see down Wowoyanda? Because everything in our country continue to suck money and never gets finished. But it would be good for Darrell Vaz to tell the women of Buff Bay at this time when that clinic will be operational. When the mothers of Buff Bay have to stop traveling to St. Mary to deliver their babies. The whole of this Labour government is scandalous. It is really scandalous. But I'm going to mumble through something for you from SSL, because this is not something that I am going to understand. I'm reading it for you so you can know what they are saying. I will pull it up on the screen and mumble jumble through it, because I know say anything will come with number. Baps your uncle. But may I go read SSL propaganda? You have to read propaganda, because it's only so we're going to see the blatant lie and thief in front of. I wonder where SSL will get them whole heap of money. Eh? Anybody can tell? Stocks and Security Limited, their client, Stocks and Security Limited, SSL, use this opportunity to provide you with further update on action taken to address matters pertaining to your account with the institution. The temporary manager, Business Recovery Service Limited, BRSL. Could I just put one of the S for the making name BRSL? Why not just drop off one S? Damn crooks. In consultation with the Financial Service Commission, which is another set of corrupt brouhaha, we just protect the loot and shooting that goes on in our public purse. Let me start read over again. I need to read. Right, let me try to go to it. The temporary manager, Business Recovery Service Limited, BRSL, in consultation with the Financial Services Authority, FSC, continues to manage SSL by safeguarding existing accounts, supporting ongoing investments. So people still have put their money there backside. I wonder if they want to give me a work then. Locate and secure assets of SSL and execute the phase approach to transfer client asset to their selected brokers and financial institution. As a reminder, client assets are grouped into 4 categories. Namely, category 1 is cash. Category 2 is local securities. As whatever the promissory note is, but it's a legal document that you can rely on in court in contract law. So you just go up on Google and type in promissory note. You may also something come up with say promissory estoppel. It's something quite similar in meaning. As previously advised, phase 1 entails dealing with asset category 1 and 2, being cash and local securities. In this regard, we are pleased to report that even more significant progress have been made in dealing with these assets category. As of the 16th of February 2024, over 1,000 clients account totaling approximately 14.5 billion Jamaican dollars to local securities were transferred to facilitate access by SSL clients to brokers and institutions selected by them. Effectively, February 29th this year, 2024, SSL will cease the processing of local securities. Instruction will follow for clients who have not yet submitted a request. As of February 16, 2024, cash totaling approximately 626 million Jamaican dollars for over 200 clients have been paid to them. SSL will continue to process cash transfer requests. Phase 2, which focus on assets category. Overseas security will now be initiated after exploring all possible solutions and considering the cross-border nature of these assets. The decision has been made to liquidate the international portfolio and remit funds directly to client as soon as reconciliation process is completed. The final phase. In the process of transferring clients' asset will see action being taken in relation to asset category 4, promissory note. In this regard, action regarding to related party promissory notes will be subject to financial condition of SSL Group. relocation effectively February 26th, upon election day. The office of SSL will be relocated to 11 Connolly Avenue, Kingston 4. We express a firm when I know me not understand that thing when me read. Me sort of understand it, but then again, can you believe anything what these people say? But the problem is though that I am having with this whole SSL thingy is that they not tell we where their money they have come from. And Dr. Clarke just silence so like dust on him about the same SSL saga. But what SSL are tell we say in a public, even though we don't know what going in a private, them a make amends and a settle. I wonder if it was a cut between them and Hugh Cross for say, oh no, don't prosecute me. And we will buy up some bond, get some insurance and hedge fund, and them something that pay up. You know, so when it come to anything in the financial part of world, me not understand it. Yes, you may heard that I was doing a master's degree in business and financial law. It's nothing to do with the numbers. It's about formation and regulation when you study the law in those areas. It's not to understand the figures. It's about the formulation and the regulation and the operations of those institutions rather than the number intertwining. So, for you people who are number good, screenshot this, read it for yourself, and see if you're understanding what they are talking about, because the more lies they come up with. Delroy Henry, have you arrived? Good evening and welcome. Thank you for joining us. Ronald B. Good evening and welcome. Precious Allen, good evening and welcome. Thank you all for joining us. But SSL, like the government, they always come up with these figures that they throw up in our face, but never manage to tell us where the money is coming from. Similar to Andrew, we have the whole heap of money, but not being able to say how I have accumulated all of this over the years, and here is the receipt where X come from, and here is the receipt where Y comes from. So Babs, your uncle, no can call me name, say me take up nothing phone because I can show you. And if I want my friend round there, so me get to write the receipt book. Me show you where me get it from. You see. But this is the thing that continue to happen to it. One of the things where me see today, well, boy, me sorry for the whole away, because all them are going to do, you know, is just continue to use and abuse the public purse of Jamaica. How the other one there? The whole of them take with the chicken archy. You hear me, sir? We're fool. Big old a fool. The whole of it. Let me find this on the iPad so I can read it, because that's too far from me. But the whole of we are fool. It's only because them take with a fool why they could be doing this thing. Everybody remember the Mark Barnett story, don't? Everybody remember the Mark Barnett time has passed story. You remember? Who remember the Mark Barnett time has passed story? You don't need to help me remember it. The Mark Barnett time has passed story. Who remembers it? The former head of enforcement at the National Environment and Planning Agency, NEPA, whose allegedly gross dereliction reportedly facilitated construction breaches by the National Water Commission president. So NEPA, the ICC said that NEPA's gross dereliction in their duty, the gross dereliction of NEPA to carry out their duty, has caused and allowed Mr. Barrett and his wife to breach the planning permission given to them. Don't forget, before we finish reading it, don't forget, the article is in the thingy, but I am going to read a paragraph for you. Don't forget that this Mr. Barnett, since he's been sent home, he's been paid by your taxpayer dollar. A time has passed ruling came against Mr. Barnett. A time has passed ruling came. And Paula tell us, say, even though time has passed for me and NEPA, Delroy Williams can still do something about it. Time has not passed for Delroy Williams, was what the crooked director of public prosecution says. Now, the former head of enforcement at NEPA, whose allegedly gross dereliction reportedly facilitated construction breaches by the National Water Commission president, has been permitted to challenge the Integrity Commission finding in court. King's Counsel Simone Mayhew says the Supreme Court recently granted her client Mujern Wallach permission to apply for judicial review in the findings and conclusion made against her in the report of October 2023. Tell me if the court not corrupt, yes, sir. I don't see what reason she have. I don't see what reason the head of NEPA have for challenge the findings of something that she should have been doing and turn a blind eye to that led to breaches. But the court has given. Why? Ask yourself the question. What is the government and the court's problem with the Integrity Commission? Because NEPA sit down upon the investigation. NEPA sat down on the investigation until time has passed. When them send it over to Madam Corrupt. Madam Corrupt, the time has passed for me and NEPA, so we can't do anything. You would wonder why, what was NEPA doing all this time? While by the time NEPA sent over their investigation, time has passed. And this same head of NEPA, this same head of enforcement at NEPA is challenging the Integrity Commission that she's in gross dereliction of her duty. You see the corruption? We can't get any prosecution against Mark Barnett. But the head, Miss Wallach, is challenging the findings of the Integrity Commission that she was in gross dereliction of her duty. So you see, even when them done some corrupt and backwards, them don't want you to talk the truth. Every turn you turn, they're swiping our pockets. Every turn you turn, somebody take a swipe at our pocket. And then either the court or the police is there to back them up. Remember how what them do to we last year? Today them tell we say, them refer Andrew for prosecution, and we say, yes, God, we get him now. And by we sleep and wake tomorrow, we hear, oh, not enough evidence. It has gone for too long now. It wouldn't be in public interest. Mr. Barnett is at home, still being paid by your tax dollars. Mr. Crooked Barnett and his wife is still enjoying your taxpayer dollars doing nothing when they have breached building regulation and permission and planning permission. And your tax dollar, Jamaica, continue to pay Mark Barnett to sit at home. President of the National Water Commission Board. So you know, so them money, they are not fenke money. The salary of a president are not fenke. And even if the president is being interdicted with a fraction of a president's or a director's salary, it is still no fenke salary compared to the ordinary man. But hey, the Guguzela them turn we in a fool. The Guguzela them turn we in a fool. Because even when them tell the lie up in our face, because we're paying attention to the euphoria of the Guguzela, half the time we're not aware what is happening around us or what they are saying to us. This evening, I want to end the program by reminding you this.
I truly believe our political system needs some fixing. Too much you hear about corrupt politicians and nothing happen. Too much you hear about politicians who take away poor people money and none of them reach in jail.
And to the young people at home or wherever you are, and to all Jamaicans, I have one question for you. Take a look at your communities. Take a look at the sliding dollar. Take a look at the failing healthcare and ask yourselves, where is the progress? Where is the progress that this arrogant and disrespectful government keeps talking about?
With this existing callous government, matters have gone from bad to worse.
I want to thank you all for being here with us tonight. Thanks to those on the X, on Twitch, on Facebook, and on YouTube. Thank you all very much for being here with us tonight. We will be back with you tomorrow when we will continue our coverage on 2024 Jamaica Decide. Good night.